Okay, please continue, sir. Continue. Yeah.
Yes, I was. Those who have left this world would have liked to be on earth because of the fact that, of course, many of them, like when we talk about Fir'aun, we talk about Namuruz, even those may be far from us, but let us talk about the former governor of Oyo State, Sani Abacha, and Abba Eri, all of them. Being alive is one of the happiness that we human beings that we seek for, or we solicit for. You understand? They would have loved to be on earth. They would have loved to be healthy so that they can stay alive. But even is it 100 million or 200 million that they would have they would have liked to have their lives back? They would have been able to pay. Is it Abba Eri that cannot afford that? Even if it is 2 billion naira, even if it is 5 billion naira, they are wealthy, they can pay. Yet they left the world. So having money, being wealthy, does not translate to you having that happiness. Only Allah gives happiness. Only Allah knows what truly the happiness is. But He has demonstrated for us in the Quran that it is in the remembrance of Allah that you find rest of mind. It is in the remembrance of Allah that you find happiness. So it is as simple as that. So the materials in that we possess in life do not actually make us happy. Rather, they are just a factor of that may give us happiness just for a little while. When you are wealthy, you can imagine when you have certain amount today and you are able to cater for your needs, another need will arise tomorrow. Our needs keep expanding. So no matter how wealthy you are, you will still be lacking some things. So if you have the money, if you have it all, at the end of the day, do we have the sound health? Do we have all the requirements that will make the wealth to stay with us? These are things that are very, very crucial in our lives. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to be with us. So that's my little submission.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheikh. I really appreciate your contributions, and they are beautiful ones. And I'm really learning from the ulama on this page. That's very great and beautiful. And that's very laudable of you, sir. And I think while you were presenting, we have additional members, participants joining us on the call. Malam Kazim Buseri and then Malam Muhammad Akanji. Please, I would also want to have your contributions here on the page, on the call. So let me start with Madam Kazim Busari. Busari, please. I don't know whether I've called your name very well. Please, please, just pardon me. Yeah, you have the floor now. Thanks. Madam Kazim, you have the floor now. Please go ahead with your contributions. Hello, Madam, are you? Madam Ali? You want to say something? Wa alaikum salam. You want to say something? Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I heard Mr. Nas. Well, he actually spoke very well. But on my part now, me, I'm not so groomed like that in quoting verses of the Quran. I'm not so groomed. But looking at it on the global level, we have some nations that have good economic growth. Like talk of China, talk of US. Well, I can categorically tell you that they are living happy. Even some are even happier than some countries that are not as developed. But looking at Islamic nations like Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, they actually hold the religion so perfectly, and they understand the meaning and the interpretation of the Quran. But I still have this in mind that despite the fact that they understand it, and the Islamic aspect of happiness is based on the Quran and the Sunnah, it's really, I'm tempted to say that what is actually happening? Why are they not feeling the happiness?
Okay, Malam Ali, let me say something. Let me respond to your concerns. Okay.
Okay.
Malam Ali, you will recall, that this there is global politics. Okay.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia will not just support US against Qatar. Saudi Arabia will not just support US against Kuwait. Saudi Arabia will not just support US against Iran just because of this global politics. So you see that Saudi Arabia is supposed to be the big brother. It's supposed to be to all Islamic nations. But because of the fact that the whole world is turning to something else, in a situation whereby the US president and then the US crown prince or whatever, we have to be in the same meeting, and there they discuss about how they want to deal with Islamic nations. Yes, Saudi Arabia could not do anything to stop them. So this is all about global politics. So, and another thing, if you look at the case of Afghanistan, the case of Afghanistan is just very simple and straightforward. Apart from the fact that Afghanistan has had issues with the US, you will recall, inshallah, Saturday 9/11, that's the 9/11 anniversary. You will recall that 9/11 attack on the Pentagon at the US was attributed to Osama bin Laden, who was later killed by the US. Do not forget, Osama bin Laden was trained by the US itself.
Yes.
So they know what they are doing. Okay, so you would find out that I heard it from Al Jazeera, because I don't listen to any other global news except Al Jazeera. Whether I know I can get valid information. I heard it that the president that left that succumbed to the Taliban's attack or the Taliban's takeover of government, that he was not the real winner of the elections. But because of the fact that the US has their own unions, or let me say, they have their own political interest, economic interest in Afghanistan. So that's why they influence the result and they recognize the man as the elected president. So you know that with that alone, you have already divided the country. You have already created cleavages. You have already created two camps of those that are US allies, camps, and the camps of those that are discontent Afghan citizens. So in that way, Taliban is unable to penetrate, because the situation whereby the rebel forces there are discontents all across the country. So they're able to even force people, other people to want to follow them. That you can see how US has come in and disorganized the whole thing. So it's very easy for the Taliban to penetrate, and I'm not too surprised for Joe Biden to withdraw the US forces. I'm not too surprised, because okay, that's a discussion for another day, not now. So now back to your question, and let me just tell you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us Muslims to Muslims are brothers. So the children whereby Saudi Arabia could not come to the rescue of Iran, Iraq when they're in trouble, then there won't be happiness that we expect. Happiness will not come. Is that understood? Happiness will never ever come. When your brother is in sadness, when your brother is in penury, when your brother is at the verge of collapse, and you cannot respond just because of the global politics, just because of your age-long ties with the US, then no happiness will come. No happiness will come anywhere. The only benefit Saudi Arabia is getting in the world today is the fact that Saudi Arabia houses Allah's two houses, most glorious houses. Makkah Mukarrama, that's Masjid al-Haram at Makkah Mukarrama, and the Masjid al-Nabawi at Medina Munawwara. If not for those two more holy mosques, okay, that is the only two mosques that I see is still sustaining Saudi Arabia till date. Saudi Arabia would have become something else. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just looking at them just because he has his mosque and is the only custodian of the two mosques. Only Allah. Because you will recollect with me, Israel has told us and made us realize the fact that the prophet's grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, was when these guys were about to attack with the, you know, the story of the elephants, when they were about to attack the Kaaba, what did he say? He told Allah that Allah, he recognized Allah, that you are the controller of this mosque. Come and watch over this mosque. You can see the hand of those, the people of the elements. You can see. So Allah is keeping, he keeps on watching all of us. And you know, Allah is not in a haste to dispatch what our rewards will be, whether good or bad. But Allah is always remaining patient for us, that let's leave him, let's give him respite. Maybe he will have his change of mindset. And you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us also in the Quran, I'm not so vast, but at least I can quote so many things in my head. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us that he will not change the condition of some people when they are not ready to change their own mindset. So until we are able to change our own mindset, that's the only way the conditions, the tranquility that have evaded the Maghreb nations all across the world will return. The happiness that has left Iran, Iraq, and everything is war-torn now. In fact, most conflict nations in the world are Islamic countries or Muslim-dominated countries. They are the ones that are in conflict today. They are the ones that have been disturbed by one terrorism or the other. They are the one that has been affected the most. And that is because of the fact that we have not followed Allah's rulings. We have neglected and jettisoned the Sharia. We have left our brothers. We have ceased to be our brothers' keepers. Then we should be ready to bear the brunt of our lackadaisical attitude. Thank you. Madam Muhammad, please, you have the floor. Madam Muhammad Akoji. Madam Muhammad Akoji, please, you can unmute yourself and contribute to this meeting. Thank you.
Sorry, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
2 minutes. I'm actually in transit, so that I'll get where I'm going next 2 minutes. So I'll make my contributions, please.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, Madam Qasim Busari, please, you have the floor now. Madam Qasim, if you can hear us, you have the floor now. Hello. Okay, Madam Nasir, Sheikh Nasir, are you still there, sir? Sheikh Nasir, are you still there? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me, sir?
Okay, please, maybe before Madam Muhammad comes back, please, can you just say something?
That is what I'm saying now, that I would like to take my brother that made that presentation about, the developed country and the developing countries just a while ago. I would like to take him on a trip of discourse. Well, is he trying to tell us that there are no people of upper class, middle class, and lower class, even in the advanced countries? Then those who have left the world here in Nigeria, as an example, the likes of those names that I mentioned the other time, are they not wealthy enough to be happy in life? Even wealthier than those who are in advanced countries. Their net worths were more than what those in advanced countries would have even gotten, would have realized in life. Am I telling lies? Yet they could not stop death. That's what we're talking about. They did not have that sound head, yet they left the world. Do you understand? So the fact that they are in those advanced countries do not translate that they are going to be, happier in life than any other person. Either that is not where we find happiness. The fact that there are people there. I know somebody who has been in the US since 2017. She keeps complaining to me up to this moment. We still talked yesterday. She's not happy because one thing or the other we just bug in. That's what we should consider. Only Allah gives happiness. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives happiness. The fact that you are in advanced countries does not translate that you are a big boy, you are a big girl, and you are happier than any other person. Somebody in Nigeria with a low income might even be happier than somebody who is in the Canada or US. That you can imagine that. So that's what I'm saying in essence is that those in advanced countries, they may be in a very good atmospheric condition. They may be having, you know, nice houses and all. Yet it does not translate to, you know, being happier than any other person that is not even there. Even people in Syria alone or any other West African country might be happier than any other person. So only Allah gives happiness, and He has described it. You see, for my brother that said issue about Islamics, that we are discussing Islamics. Yes, we'll be talking about Islam here, and we'll be quoting Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Allah says, "Ma lam yahkum bima anzalallahu fa ulaika humul khasirun." Whoever does not judge or make any presentation with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed to the Prophet, fa ulaika humul khasirun. Those people will be, you know, they will be losers. Auzubillah. May we not be losers in our lives. So let us, you know, be cognizant of, you know, these Islamic teachings. When we are talking about conventional economics, let us make more research. It does not necessarily mean that one is an afar or something. Make research. That is why the internet is there for you to explore. So make research on, you know, the teachings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when it comes to issues like this. This will help us a lot because we even be benefiting more. Allah will reward us more. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to increase us in knowledge. That's my little contribution.
Oh, thank you very much, Malam Nasiruddin. Thank you very much for your contributions, for your great contributions. Malam Qasim, please, I don't know if you can hear me, unmute and contribute to this page, to this meeting. Okay, Malam Muhammad, are you back? Malam Qasim, are you back?
Actually, I'm driving right now. That's why I've not been talking. I'm just listening to the program.
Okay, yeah. Will you talk now, or we should give it time?
No,
should we give it time? Okay, Malam Muhammad Akonji, can you speak now? Malam Muhammad Akonji, can you speak now?
Probably is still in transit.
Yes, can you speak now? Can you speak now?
Oh yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for giving the opportunity to actually be here today. I'm really sorry for coming late because I went out and I had some things to do with my family. But I think this is actually a very so this is a very important discourse, especially at this critical time in the life of us Muslims and the world in general. The link between happiness and economic growth, I think, has been a debatable. Okay, sorry. Can you please? Can I go back to the meeting? Just give me 5 minutes, please. I'll join you back in the meeting. Please.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, before Malam Muhammad comes back, let me just say this about Islamnomics. We have a lot of aspirations to achieve. Bismillah. We have a lot of aspirations to achieve, Bismillah. And I am of the opinion and the belief that if you look at the main platform, the Global Econometric Clinic, we are recording landmark achievements. And I know that given the fact that these are religion, that we are incorporating into the conventional economics world. So I think Allah, I hope and I pray Allah supports us in this agenda to contribute to the field of Islamic economics and finance the global developments. You will know and recall, because our dream is that though we can't say the past generations have failed us, but because they've tried for us, if Allah has not used them for us in one way or the other, I do not know what to say about our existence today. But alhamdulillah for their contributions. But I always challenge myself that, okay, what should also be our own contributions? Should we just leverage on what they have done for us and then we do nothing? No. So that future generation will also pray for us and not curse us. It's high time we started looking at ways of also contributing to the global developments of Islamic economics. I just imagine when if you look around, just do a kind of survey. Just do a kind of survey across primary schools, across secondary schools in Nigeria. You would agree with me that Islamic and religious studies is most of the schools are not taking courses in that area again. And the question is, when will this guy? Okay, you are back. Wa alaikum assalam. Okay, please.
Sorry for butting in. Can I go ahead now? Sorry for butting in. Now, because I would really love to make my contributions. Can I? Yeah.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, I had some people around, so I needed to attend certain things. So sorry for that breaking, that intermission that I am having. So I'm saying that happiness and economic growth, they've actually been two important discourse as far as even welfare economics or development economics is concerned. And the nexus or the role of Islam is something that really goes down to the roots of happiness anyway, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a lot of verses of the Quran always make reference to the fact that those that are believers, those that put their trust in Allah, la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. They won't be afflicted with sadness, neither will they actually be able to suffer from pains. So first of all, that's connection between happiness and growth is something, as I mentioned, economists have delved into. And personally, this is actually my own personal belief. I believe that the starkest thing in economics, the starkest thing, is just be able to study the role of poverty. Because poverty goes to the heart of economics. And so understanding how to be able to deal with those tripod problem of poverty, unemployment, and inequality, I think will actually be a very tricky indicator to be able to solve the problem of happiness and then linking it to inclusive growth. Because I think there is a need to be able to revamp the thinking from just economic growth to inclusive growth. Now, across board, I mean, if you're able to look at cross-country analysis, we could observe something like, yes, it's generally believed that countries with high level of happiness tend to be able to have higher economic growth. I mean, evidence have shown that. Countries like Finland, most of these Eastern European countries, that was actually we've seen that the level of happiness index there, the misery index is very low, the happiness index is very high, and we can be able to see that a whole lot of countries in those regions accounted for more of the world's economic growth. So indicating that there is that nexus, there is that correlation, that kind of correlation between happiness and economic growth. But at the same time, we've seen where economists, people like Amartya Sen, this very notable Indian Nobel laureate in economics, who actually argued that yes, economic growth, there is actually that kind of causality, economic growth to happiness, and happiness indirectly to economic growth. But at the same time, it is observed that the focus on economic growth to be able to engender happiness is deficient, as we've seen in a lot of countries. At the time in Nigeria, Nigerians were actually ranked as one of the most religious countries in the world, the most happiness of people in the world. But I don't think that has really been able to translate into economic growth. And I think the missing link, even with what Amartya Sen said in his analysis, able to read his seminal paper, was the fact that yes, there is that correlation. But if we don't be able to go to the root of the tripods of happiness, which is those things that actually be able to be like a platform, the platform that erects happiness, I mean poverty, inequality, and unemployment, then tackling those things head on, be able to tackle them head on, there is no reason to talk about happiness. A very typical example as well could be last week, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics released Nigeria's economic growth, 5.01%. That's wonderful. The last we've seen, the best that we have actually seen in years, 7 years or thereabout. I think the last time we had that was in 2014, before the recession. But does that translate into people's lives? Do we be able to get the impact of that correspondingly to how people are actually feeling? So, which I kind of look at the major solution anyway that I feel could actually be able to help people to solve this problem is be able to go back to Islam. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always tell us that whenever we go able to go through everything, faruddu ilallah. So we believe that Islam economics and Islam finance, because of the risk-sharing opportunities, the sustainable principle, and other things that predicated Islamic economic system, will be the best way to be able to engender growth and happiness. So, but because I think, can I still go ahead? Because I have other things to be able to mention. Madam, because I'm trying to consider people's time and Maghrib is around the corner.
Yes, Maghrib is around the corner, so let's round off. Maybe we'll be rounding off with you. Maybe we'll round off with you, please.
Okay. So just give me like a minute to be able to round up. So I'm just saying that the missing link between happiness and economic growth, based on what research has shown, even Richard Easterlin, when he was actually coming up with that Easterlin paradox about countries, and I think it's actually directed towards emerging market and developing economies, where, okay, fine, a lot of them are very, very happy. We have some countries like that. Here in Nigeria, we talk about at the time, our happiness index was very high. Until now, misery index was very low, but do people to record economic growth? No. So Islam is definitely the missing link. And the missing link is, if we try to be able to move back to Islamic economic system, at the time, I was just able to read something on the New Yorker this morning. They look at Afghanistan economy from 1991 when the Taliban took over, till 2001, for that 20-year time frame. Relative to the 2001 to 2021, when American to institute Islamic economic system, let us compare the living standards. Let's compare how well do people fare over those two intervals. And the results are actually shown that people observed that the poverty level was very low during the time when Islamic laws were established. The security level was actually very high rates compared to what it is now. So meaning that except be able to move back towards that, except be able to go back to that, because that's what I was actually able to have this particular discussion with people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was saying something in Surah Al-Malik. He says, that's a very key word. Allah says, can we know ourselves more than He who created us? Can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has made endeavors to be able to create these copious world, this bountiful world, allow us to be the one to be able to rule over it with our own personal system, political system, economic system, social system, except we move back to Allah? That is exactly where the happiness and that solution will actually be. Because He created this and He knows His world. Before we came here, 50,000 to 100,000 years before humans and jinn came to this world, the world has been created. Allah has designed it for it to be the best system for it to actually be. So if you talk about political system, the economic system, and the social system, except we move back to the fundamental root of Islam, perhaps I don't think the happiness, that link between happiness and economic growth could be achieved except with it. So thank you very much. I think let me stop there so I'm able to
okay. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan. Brother Cousin Buseri, are you there? Because this meeting will end in less than 10 minutes and I don't want us to come back. Mr. Cousin, can you speak now?
Assalamu alaikum. I think, please, you will have to go on. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. It's fine.
Okay,
it's fine. Madam Ali, what about you?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say yet before we go? Okay, Madam Muhammad, do you still have anything to say so that we can call it a day? Madam Muhammad, do you have any other thing to say before we call it a day? We'll call it a day in less than 5 minutes. We need to go.
Oh, yes, I do. Can I?
Oh yeah, go ahead, please go ahead. You have just 5 minutes. Just round off so that we can call it a day, please. Yeah,
that's quite a whole lot of time. Thank you very much. So, Adam, as I was actually saying, I feel like there is a need for us to now be able to put Islamic economics into the moderating variable between growth. Sorry, I want to die. So there is a need to be able to put Islam and Islamic principles into that nexus of happiness and growth. The best way that we can actually be able to achieve, that's actually my argument, and that's the crux of my argument. Because for the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling us, do we think we know Him better? Do we think we know ourselves? Allah was referring towards ourselves. Our creation, the way He molded us, the way He put us together, can we know ourselves better than Him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Definitely not. So the key thing is for us to be able to resort back into that and see that by the time we're able to entrench Islamic laws, even in the secular state. One of my scholars was actually saying something. Imam Majid Ali was saying something that he said at the time he was in Saudi Arabia at the time, and then something happened. A man who was alleged of adultery was brought to the mosque. He just finished prayer around Zuhr. And then immediately the Imam announced, please, nobody should go home. There is a particular khadi, they are waiting for a khadi to come and be able to pass a judgment to hand down the sentence on this man. And the man came, he's a married man. And then the judgment came, okay, the four witnesses were brought forth. They provided their witnesses as they saw the man while he was actually in the act. He was caught in the act with the woman, and other things like that. And next thing was the judgment was handed down. How they did that? So he said they bought truckloads of stones right and there. They ordered for it and they bought it there. It was the Imam who picked the first one. Now, he picked the first stone, he stoned him, he was stoned, and other people started doing that until he died. He was even tied down. But the question he said, immediately that was done, a lot of people were restrained. You see a lot of restraining people that, I cannot move closer to zina. That's exactly what, you see that deterrence. We see that deterrence. He said, even if a woman should call you that, hey, Mohammed, come and do this, you will run away. If you see the way someone who was actually handed down Sharia sentence to, a lot of people, we observe that, or you will see that those things will go down drastically. Things like, and it's because of, just Allah told us that in Allah that there is no way, unless and until we're able to change our mindset, unless and until we're able to change those things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change our ways. So we can be talking about economic growth, 5%, 6%. Does it translate into people's lives? Does it counter poverty? Does it attack our unemployment level? Does it be able to bridge that wide inequality gap? And unless that is actually done, perhaps I think we'll still be living in a mirage, trying to be able to achieve growth that can only be able to make us to smile. Yes, they cannot make us to laugh. Thank you very much.
Jazakumullah khairan, Malam Muhammad. Thank you very much, everyone, for the contributions so far. May Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward us abundantly, and for our time, for our contributions. May Allah increase us in knowledge of the deen and of our secular affairs. May He keep us safe and our families. May He keep us safe. May He bless us in our doings, in our life endeavors, and may He make us the best of Muslims on this earth and in the year after. Let's call it a day. So until next time we'll meet, inshallah. I say subhanaka wa bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wassalamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No.
So we'll talk about our paper later.